Hello again and welcome to part 2 of the 3D geometry video. In this topic we'll be covering prisms. And this is located on page 18 and 19 on the Communicate Graphically booklet. In these exercises we have 4 orange 3D solids, and these 3D solids are prisms. Now right next to the prisms we have their 2D nets, and when you fold these 2D nets they will form the 3D solid prisms which are right next to them. Now here's a real life example. Here I have the 2D net of the triangular prism. Now, as you can see, when folded down, we will form that 3D solid. There we have it. That's the 3D triangular prism. So let's start the labeling exercise now. Let's start with the first one. So here we have to label these words onto the provided spaces. So first of all, this 3D solid which I have here is a triangular prism. So we'll go ahead and write down triangular prism. Make sure to write in capitals and as neat as possible. Now let's start labeling. The item which I have right here is the 3D solid. So let's go ahead and write down 3D solid. Next we have the 2D net, which when folded down will form the 3D solid. So let's write down 2D net. Up next we have the folding line. The folding line are these dotted lines which indicate to the person where he or she must fold their 2D net in order to form the 3D solid on the left. Next we have the flap. Now this flap is used for adhesive to be put on it to keep the folded 2D net together. Now let's move on to the others. Now this time, instead of a triangular prism, we have a prism with a profile of a square. We have 4 sides, 4 equal sides, therefore we have a square prism. And let's continue with the labeling. This is the 3D solid. We have the 2D net, which when folded down will form the 3D solid that we have on the left. Now we have the folding line. Once again, the folding line is that dotted line which indicates to a person where to fold his or her 2D net. Next we have the flap. It's good to note that you don't find any form of packaging without the flaps. Without the flaps, the packaging would have to be assembled by using tape. And of course, when you use tape, it will not look neat. So let's move on to the other prism. Next we have another 3D solid prism with a profile of a shape which has 6 equal sides. Therefore, we have a hexagonal prism. And once again, let's do the labeling. So here we have the 3D solid. And then we have the 2D net. When folded down, obviously, it will form the hexagonal prism. Then we have the folding lines. This is where a person is to fold his 2D net to form the 3D solid. And then we have the flap. Again, the flap is where we put the adhesive on to keep the 2D net folded together. Lastly, we have a 3D solid prism with a profile of a shape with 8 equal sides. Therefore, a shape with 8 equal sides, we have an octagonal prism. Once again, write down in capitals and as neat as possible. Okay, now I'm going to stop here with the explanation. I'm going to leave this shape up to you to label, and see you in the next video.